Hello, my name is Angie Dowdell. I am a data scientist for about 6 or 7 years now. I have been working with conversation AI, machine learning, modeling and simulation tools such as generative AI, algorithms like sequence to sequence, all the way up to cloud-based computing platforms such as Core, Nuance, recently AWS, Vertex AI on Google Cloud Platform, and also from the beginning Dialogflow. Today I'm going to cover some NER tagging basics for a tool called Core.ai. Now, today I will not be going over the front end development, but specifically how to curate and develop a named entity recognition tagging script and a data set along with that to generate mock data and training data and to train a classifier that will automatically be able to recognize entities that you're using to train your machine learning model. So let's just say you want your chatbot to be able to take basic information from a user, such as their name, their location, how their account number, the amounts, the times, dates, all of those kinds of things. Those are examples of entities. Of course, entities can vary depending on the expertise. For example, today I'm working with expertise from a financial planning analyst. So in this case, account lines, business lines, geography, those things are important entities that should be extracted from the data set at hand. Here I'm starting with a Kaggle.com data set. This Kaggle.com data set is created by myself. But there are also other demos here, such as NER tagging demo that was created 2 years ago by Shulu, as well as others. And I just want to bring this up, text classification using Spacy, that if you want to learn a new task as a data scientist, because data science is so broad, we always start with Kaggle.com. This is great for just getting started and learning about some of the other projects out there that are similar to yours or maybe a little different, and combining techniques as you go. Now, in this case, this project that I'm doing today is not quite yet on Kaggle.com, but you can expect a link to be coming your way quite soon. I really appreciate you for being in attendance, and let me know if you have any feedback on what you would like to cover in the upcoming tutorial sessions, and we could most definitely work that in. Okay, so I'm going to be navigating in just a moment to the next screen. So here is an example of a NER tagging demo. I see the input here, output. The input includes information like lead, position, claim, counterclaim, rebuttal, evidence. It's a small public test or data set of rhetorical and argumentative elements. So these are more of ambiguous entities and not necessarily concrete entities such as nouns that you would expect, proper nouns and dates and times, etc. So I would recommend this feedback prize evaluating student writing project as a good start for anyone who needs help with using sentences that have more of human subjective tokens that are being used as entities instead of more concrete traditional entities that we're used to, or slots as we can call them. Now, for more information about what slots are, what named entity recognition is, and all the basics, you can go to a channel under which this channel is located called Solola Tango, where we cover education, research, and some innovative initiatives there. But this channel here is dedicated to a concept called mediocre data science. What is mediocre data science? Mediocre data science is data science that forgets the human in mind. Unfortunately, this is something that's quite common, though quite, ubiquitously known about. So we do want to be careful of forgetting the human. And I always encourage data scientists or data personnel, data engineers, anyone who's getting started to look at Kaggle.com as a reference and a guide for learning how to build good samples before you get started. So thank you for allowing me to show you this. And now let's move on to the next. So this here is an example, pythondictionary.com. on how to append various um, entities to a dictionary. And we're going to get into this in a little bit, but being able to work with this particular data type is going to be crucial for working with named entity recognition scripts, classification scripts, and feeding your data into a specific data type that we'll cover today. So this is the most brute force way of feeding your data in, which is as a CSV file, which, for example, of various entities, in this case, the questions themselves, scenarios, business lines, account lines, for example. Again, this is a public sample based upon public data, and I'm just showing you some example sentences and the kind of information that can be extracted from each of these sentences. For example, actuals, plans, as scenario types, QMMF. And if you want to know more about what these are related to, you can think about expertise for a financial planning analyst at a bank, for example. Business lines such as retail services, equity markets, legacy franchises, U.S. personal banking, etc. These are all based on a public sample of documents released as press releases on the city website. This is only for tutorial purposes, and this is not to provide any specific information about any specific team, project, or etc. So this data here was created by a chat bot, an open source chat bot from an open source press release, just through a set of prompt engineering interactions. So as you know today, we most definitely have a deficit in some data for certain projects at the beginning of the project's life cycle. So interacting with a chatbot that can generate your samples for you is a great way to get started. And this is why I'm showing you these examples today. They're not very human-like. For example, can you provide the 4.6 billion figure for investment banking in the last quarter? That's not a very human-like input. Meaning it doesn't sound like an intelligent, sophisticated FP&A, what they would actually say, in their everyday. But it is a good start for training the mechanics, the mechanism behind the name entity extraction. So I'm actually navigating to a sample here. Let's see if we can find it. How much did the payout ratio amount to in 2018, for example? Now, these were created with a set of rules in a Python script that I will show you a little bit later. So these are not real human utterances again, and this is not a private sample. This is based upon a public innovation effort. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about this in just a second. But notice that there's a business line included, account line, and some amount, and a time period, such as a quarter, for example. And those are the kind of things that we want to excavate, the slots that we want to extract from the sentences as important, valuable pieces of information that will be used later on in the process. So I'm using Google Collaboratory today. To learn more about this, you can go to this website here, workspace.google.com, and you can experiment with this plugin in your browser, and most definitely go on the website, set up an account through Google, and get started. Okay, great. So just a little bit of background about ChatGPT is the LLM that I used in this case to create this sample and to provide some supplemental support for dictionary parsing and etc. Um, and on the algorithmic side as well. So it did not write the program completely for me. That would be a different topic, possibly on Solula Tango, another website that's adjacent to this particular platform here. But as we know, machine learning can't do all the work for you, although it does a pretty good attempt nowadays. And we're going to discuss why you can't just write your whole program in with ChatGPT and say you're done and you don't have to do anything else. That can go well depending on what you're doing, how arbitrary, how difficult the task is for a human, and etc. So anyway, we'll come back to that. This is the format for the entity parsing file that we'll be using in our classifier script. You have the start index, the end index, and the label of the actual entity. And these are all listed underneath the text that represents the target sentence. And you can have multiple entities listed underneath each item. So this is great. I love this particular format for training, importing our training data into our machine learning script that we will go over in a part 2 to this particular video here.